All right, hello. Welcome to Saturday night at my house. Oh boy. Okay, so I wanted to do, I'm going to do a whole bunch of pours tonight. I just mixed up a ton of paint. First one I want to do is going back to my roots. Actually, all of them tonight, going back to my roots. My blues, my greens, turquoise, teal, jewel tones. They're really my favorites. In the last couple weeks, I've tried to step outside that because I found myself doing a lot of very similar pours. I picked up a lot of paint, different colors of paint. Not that I couldn't mix exactly what I need, but it does help to have paint available in different colors for inspiration. I've also been looking at like color palettes on Pinterest, and I think that's helped a little. But okay, so I'm back doing my thing. Tonight is blues. I have a very dark navy blue, a little bit of a lighter navy blue, another blue. It's hard to describe that one, I guess. I have a dark coral color and then a dark maroon. So I'm going to see what happens. I love these colors together. They look very nice, so I hope they turn out well on the canvas. I'm going to add a little more. A couple of minutes ago, I accidentally spilled my entire water jug onto my floor. Luckily, it's just a concrete floor, so that wasn't a big deal, but yeah. I'm having a day. All right. And another thing I didn't do is add silicone. Great. As you can see, I have primed my canvas. I notice it looks pretty blue in the camera lens. It's pretty close color to everything else I'm using here in real life. It doesn't seem to translate well, but I do expect to cover everything, but I like to prime my canvas, especially the corners and the edges, so that I don't have to worry as much about those when I'm actually pouring. And also, I won't have that ugly white canvas showing through because, as you just saw, I like to put silicone in all my colors when I'm doing just regular flip cups. If I'm doing an abstract, if I'm doing a negative space pour, I do like to leave the color I'm using for the negative space as plain without any silicone. So, all right, here I go. I'm going to layer these in order that you see them. I don't know why I actually have 2 cups out. I don't think I'll use the second cup. I love blues. I don't know, they're so calming. I'm not doing any white or black today. I don't think I need it. This is too much paint. Oh well. I've said in other videos, I don't know if I posted all my videos yet. Some of them haven't turned out great. But I do reuse all my runoff paint. My tray underneath here is just like a Rubbermaid tub lid. I find it fits perfectly underneath my grate here. So I like to use that, and oops, oh good, my furnace is on. Nice and loud. Anyway, so I like to use this Rubbermaid tub, and when I'm done pouring for the night, I pour all of my runoff paint into a separate cup. This is from last weekend, so it doesn't look like much, all the silicone rise to the top. But I have a little tray of them, and as it fills up, I keep them just set aside. The paint doesn't go bad. And then every once in a while, I will go through and do a couple of dirty pours or swipes that are just with runoff paint. I find that they really turn out pretty beautiful because the colors, they do blend together. I mean, here's one that's almost entirely brown, which is fine, but the colors do mix almost entirely, but not quite. So you get these little pops of color throughout. Like I did a gray one, a gray series a couple weeks ago, and while it is mostly gray and dark gray, there's pops of metallics and oranges, and it's really interesting. So I think it's worth it. I don't like to waste paint. That's why I don't feel too bad about it running off the edge. Okay, enough talking. This is interesting. That dark navy blue is mostly fallen to the bottom of my pour, and I'll be curious to see what happens when I torch. Okay, let's cover this ugly bright blue up a little bit. Look at how huge those cells are. Holy cannoli. That's enormous. Wow. So I don't know if you can tell in the video here, but I bought some glitter. Glitter is an interesting thing in the craft world. It's not my favorite thing to use in art of pretty much any kind. Although I am a dance teacher and I find myself using an awful lot of glitter in that realm. But with these paintings, I was like, glitter? No. Until I tried a pour a couple weeks ago. You might have seen it. I used black, a lot of black as a negative space for this pour I did. And at the last second, I tossed in a huge amount of black holographic glitter. And wow, when it dried, it really added something to it. Like it looked different. You know, it wasn't just a flat black negative space. It had some body to it, and it was really beautiful. Despite the fact that it's craft herpes. Yay. Okay. Sorry, my head's in the way here. Well, this is pretty interesting. A lot of my lighter coral kind of either got tilted off or was covered up, so I'm very curious to torch this now. I do see a ton of glitter, which I'm actually pretty happy with. I think it looks really interesting once the paintings are varnished too. But let's see what happens when I torch. Some of these cells are absolutely enormous. So I'll probably get some cells within cells within cells within cells. Oh. And I find myself saying this a lot, and maybe that doesn't make it true. But I don't normally like to torch absolutely everything. I think it can take away from an otherwise beautiful pour if you torch an entire piece. And that's kind of funny because I've said that the last several videos I made. I don't normally do this, but I'm torching the whole thing. And then I go and torch the whole thing. So I don't know. Maybe I'm a hypocrite. Torch hypocrite. Because I'm going to torch some more over here. So this is pretty beautiful. I don't know if it really comes through in the camera, but there's a lot of really gorgeous cells in this piece. The glitter really adds to it. Honestly, I never thought I'd find myself saying that, but it does. And the colors really complement each other. I'm quite happy with this. Okay, so I'm kind of using this pour to psych myself up because I don't always like to just do a dirty pour, and I think it's kind of not necessarily boring, but it doesn't always do it for me. I'm going to attempt another pour like this on a much larger canvas. This is 11 by 14, as is this. So like I said, psyching myself up a little bit to get ready to do a giant negative space pour. Okay, I think this is done. There's not much I want to do to it. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. Camera's being a little funky. It's not focusing. Well, all right. I guess you don't get a nice close-up of this one. I'm not sure what's happening here. Okay. All right, well, that was my first pour of the night. I'll try to get a better picture with my regular camera. Thanks for watching.